Join us on Geek Blood, the show you can't ignore. Wayne and Kevin diving deep into all things galore. Comic book, movie, sci-fi, and action thrill. Reviewing new TV shows, we keep it real, real. Reminiscing the attitude era, wrestling at its peak. Nostalgia from the 80s and 90s, memories we seek. Pineapples for our rings, a unique touch. Geek culture in our blood, we love it so much. Geek Blood forever, we love it so much. Geek Blood, where we talk about it all, from superheroes to wrestlers. We stand tall, Ray and Kevin, the dynamic duo in sight. Geek Blood, shining bright, shining bright. Did you hear about Pluto? That's messed up, right? Geek Blood, taking you on a nostalgia flight. From movies to TV, we cover it all. Join us every week, we'll have a ball. Shuffle.
Hey, welcome.
How's it going, man?
Doing good. Doing good.
Good.
Get a jam-packed show. We're going to start this week off with a Fat Fucks. The Fat Fucks are back. Yeah, you know about the river, but the Fat Fucks are back. Motherfucker, show me the Fat Fucks. Heart Attack Grill. Never been to Vegas, but always heard about it because people over 350 pounds eat for free. They have a scale right in front. Well, they've gone bankrupt, and the restaurant is closing. I believe that every single item on the menu is over 3,500 calories.
Something like that, yeah.
I think some of them are like 7,000. So, yeah. Definitely a niche audience of fat people and people that just want to eat something that's high in fat, high in salt. And
I mean, who doesn't?
Reason why it's called Heart Attack, right? There's a reason why it's called Heart Attack Grill. Never been to Vegas. Don't know anything about it. But yeah, going out of business. The other thing, we are Memorial Day weekend, and it seems right that we bring up some American-themed Bush's Baked Beans. Dill pickle flavored, apple pie flavored, and my favorite, rocket pop flavored baked beans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that's even possible, but that's coming out this summer.
Yeah, the rock pop sounds disgusting.
I love rocket pop, but I don't know about baked bean flavored. That's be awkward. And finally, Hooters is rebranding itself into a family-friendly restaurant, getting rid of the skimpy shorts. Yep, and they're going to be adding more of a beach look like they had in the 80s when they first started, and not so much of a thong look with tight dresses and tight skirts and everything else.
I miss that place in Portland that closed. What was that? The
Tilted Kilt? Yeah.
Tilted Kilt. That place was not only the waitress, but like the food was just really good. It was like a better version of Hooters, because I haven't been to Hooters in a while, but the last time we went, it was pretty unimpressive. It was not good.
Well, the article that I read said that the CEOs of the company in 2022 kind of choked the reins a little bit with all the other franchisees in America, because none of them were using the same sauce that they had used 20 years ago. Right. And that's what happened when we went to Saugus in Massachusetts. Their sauce had changed completely. Everything in that Hooters changed. Even the breading, everything the whole entire recipe's changed. And I haven't been since then. I don't remember the last time I went.
We went to we went on Route 1. Remember on the way? Oh yeah, the Route 1 in Saugus. Yeah, that's the one you were talking about. Yeah. I've been since then, and I got something different. It was actually not bad, but it's not what it used to be. But when we used to go to wrestling events,
back in the day, the one near the Fleet Center, was amazing.
That was one
Yeah.
where I went with my sister's fiance at the time. They ended up not getting married, but there was like us two, and there was like a group of 2 guys in front of us, and they were like, "We're just gonna see you at the same table," and we're like, "Oh, okay, fine." So we sat with 2 random people at a Hooters.
Yeah, that place was always busy. Yeah, because it was right near, like you said, wrestling events. When we went to see the first time we went to see King of the Ring 2000,
Yep.
we went there. I went there for the first time. But yeah, they want to bring everything. They want to make it more of a neighborhood place, more family friendly, and they want to make the recipes back to what they used to be. So I like the. I've always said, and
Mhm.
people can agree with me or not. I always thought the food was the best thing of Hooters. I didn't care about the scantily clad women. I mean, I was a kid, I cared, but I don't care. I love the wings, the old school
Yeah, it used to be
wings
good.
that they used to have. They used
The
to be
Daytona
great.
ones we got last time were pretty good.
They were great too. There's another flavor that they have is really good. It's like a teriyaki, sweeter teriyaki. I can't remember the name of it, but old school Hooters was great. The ones in Florida even better because when you get closer to the original, I had one of my favorite steak sandwiches I've ever had. It was an actual steak, but it was so tender. And it was on a couple pieces of really thick bread. I had this when I lived down there. It was amazing, and I haven't seen it on the menus up here, so I guess it must have been a southern thing when I lived down there. Yeah, maybe good news for Hooters. We'll have to wait and see. Going into what we watched this week, we had a big finale, a series finale, and that is The Boys, season 5 finale.
Boy, this
and
is
for the
causing
most
controversy.
part, a lot of controversy. For the most part, I love the ending. I thought
loved it too.
I thought it
I thought it
wrapped
was
up.
great.
I thought it wrapped up every single storyline perfectly. Especially when, spoiler, Frenchie died in last episode.
Yep.
Kamiko is the soup cure. She actually has the power of Soldier Boy, and she can get this big, huge blast of radiation out of her body. And you find this out because Sister Sage eggs her on. And she uses it on her first, and Sister Sage becomes dumb, becomes powerless, loses all of her super smarts. And she wants to go to Harry Potter World in Orlando, and that's where she leaves off. She doesn't die. She actually leaves and doesn't become a part of the finale. The whole episode set in the White House in Washington, D.C. That's where Homelander has his home base of operations, and the boys infiltrate the White House. And we got different team-offs, different setups. Kind of the first one is Starlight versus the Deep, which has been from the very first season a feud that needed to be finalized. And of course, we know from the Deep from this season, the Ocean is pissed at him. So when Starlight and Deep, they start fighting, and she flies up to the ocean, like the ocean shore, and they get into this big, huge fight. And Starlight pushes him into the ocean, way out into the ocean, and he jumps into the ocean, falls into the ocean. Sharks and whales and a big, huge octopus circle him.
Yep.
Goes up through the rectum, out through the mouth.
Can I just say one thing?
One
thing about the Deep.
Yeah.
Of course, they named him Kevin. My buddy Zan,
Yes.
he gets a cool shark voice by Samuel L. Jackson. Me, I get the fucking Deep. That's bullshit.
But yep, the octopus gets their revenge. The Deep finally gets some retribution for all the shit that he's done in the series. So R.I.P. to the Deep, the first casualty. Butcher goes one-on-one with Homelander. And then Ryan shows up and joins forces with Butcher to go against his father. And that's the big, huge battle that happens in the Oval Office. And Kamiko, with this brand new power, follows her destiny, takes revenge for what happens to Frenchie, and blasts Homelander, Butcher, and Ryan with this power. Makes them obsolete, makes them just regular human beings, takes away their superpowers. Homelander, now mortal, realizes he has no power. He cannot fly. He tries to punch Butcher. Butcher stops him mid-punch. Says, "Don't kill me. I'll suck your dick," which has become a meme all over Twitter this week. Butcher gets his final revenge for his ex-wife, for his wife Becca, and for Ryan and for Frenchie, and he stabs Homelander through the head with a crowbar.
Yep.
And that's how Homelander dies. He dies as a mortal being, a human being, loses his powers. A lot of people hate that. They thought Homelander should have had some sort of a burnt final reckoning where he burned everybody, killed everybody in a big city.
Right.
Didn't happen. I understand why it didn't happen. He just got overpowered, and
Mhm.
it's great. This could have been this. What people wanted was a full size movie. It was less than an hour. I thought it
Yep.
was fine.
That was very
The
good. Pretty good finale.
Terror, the dog that's been throughout the whole entire series. The real life dog passed away, I believe, a couple months ago, or maybe within the last 6 months. And they actually killed the dog in the show. He just died of peaceful after the battles and everything, and they're all celebrating. He dies. Butcher sees the dog dead. And between that and Ryan telling him he does not want anything to do with him after he sees him kill Homelander, and he says, I don't want you a part of my life.
Mhm.
Butcher just gets depressed and mad and leaves. Nobody knows where he goes. And Huey kind of figures, oh fuck, he's got the virus. He sees he opened up the virus, this big huge soup virus that was created, and follows him. Figures out he's going to go to Vought Tower, and that's exactly where he ends up going. Follows Butcher to Vought Tower. They go up into the very top of the tower. Of course, no soups are around anymore. And
Mhm.
Butcher and Huey have a big, huge fight up the top of the tower trying to stop this virus. I guess Butcher put it up in the sprinkler system or somewhere in the tower. It would release to the rest of the world. And Huey, which I guess I never read the last comic book of the series, but I guess it's shot for shot, page for page of what the comic does
Mhm.
with Huey and Butcher. I guess Huey ends up shooting Butcher to stop him from releasing the virus to kill all the soups. Of course, it would have killed Starlight. It would have killed Kamiko. Would have killed all their friends. So as Butcher's dying, they kind of have their last talk to each other, and Butcher dies, and the soup virus does not get released. All the soups survive. We get a little bit of a time jump and kind of a after credits moment. MM gets married to his girlfriend. He also ends up taking on Ryan. Ryan is now kind of part of his family. Kamiko lives her dream with Frenchie, ends up going to France, and that's where she leaves off. Huey and Annie have their happily ever after. And Annie is pregnant with his child, and she actually is still doing soup stuff. He has this audio video store in the middle of town, in the middle of New York. And they both run it, and it's kind of also a underground syndicate where they can hear stuff going on, police scanners, so she can go off and fight crime in kind of in a secret, private way instead of doing it in a big huge corporate way. So that's where the series ends. I thought it was great. The series so far, what they said, they haven't said what the finale did, but before the finale aired, they announced that season 5 was the most watched in series history. 55 million viewers, which is pretty good for a Prime show. Also, Elon Musk. There's a character in the show that shows up to the White House before the whole fight goes down.
Yep.
Very reminiscent of Elon Musk. And Homelander just does not like this guy and sends him to space and just leaves him there. Just flies him up into space.
Yep.
Elon was not happy. Elon was not happy. He posted pathetic on X. So I wanted to mention that. Overall, I thought the season was hit or miss. There was a few weak episodes, but overall, I thought the finale was perfect. A perfect way to end the whole entire series. I don't agree with a lot of people comparing it to Game of Thrones or anything like that. I thought there was a lot of points here that needed to be made. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a satisfying ending to all the storylines that have happened throughout the years. Widow's Bay. Wanted to mention this show again because everybody should be watching it. It's on Apple TV. There are about 5 episodes in right now. It's incredible. Really good horror story. I wanted to mention that. Also wanted to mention Margot's Got Money Trouble season 1. Just finished it this week. Finale came out. Nick Offerman's great in this show. He plays an ex-wrestler who has a heroin addiction. And Elle Fanning's great in this show. She has a child from her professor in college, has to drop out of college to raise the kid. Professor doesn't want anything to do it. And then towards the end of the season, he decides that he wants to wreck her life and try to get custody of the child. So that's a whole storyline. Michelle Pfeiffer, also great in this show. Nicole Kidman plays a lawyer / ex-wrestler that used to wrestle with the Jinx, who is Nick Offerman's wrestling character. Yeah, so it's a great show. It's on Apple TV. Apple TV has great shows. Both of those, Widow's Bay and Margot's Money Trouble, both on Apple TV. Both worth watching. Batman,
Yes.
The Dark Knight Legacy. First
Yep.
reactions. Game came out on Tuesday. If you pre-ordered it, comes out officially today on Friday. First reactions. Only played about 3 hours of it, but played the very first kind of trials. Kind of get the grasp of how the controls work on the game. It's all set in the Batman Begins universe when you're trying to steal the blue flower, and you got Liam Neeson's
And
Ra's al Ghul.
nods to the animated series. I think it was the animated
Yeah.
series where with the Grey Ghost suit.
Yep.
I got
that's great
further
too.
than you.
Yeah.
I've gotten my first Batmobile.
Nice.
I've been chasing down random street thugs. I've done a couple puzzles right now. I just took out I did the chase scene from The Batman, which is one of the first things
Nice.
you do when you get the Batmobile with the Penguin. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's good. It's easy. Like every other Lego game. Even though I'm playing on the medium difficulty. And I think you are too. But it is super easy, but it is a lot of fun so far, and I can't wait for Bond next week.
The big difference between this and all the other Lego games, I will say that the controls are identical to the Arkham games, where you're the fighting style and everything, which makes this fun as hell. Does not feel like a Lego game. It actually, like, you're looking at the game, you realize it's Lego characters, but you should be seeing Arkham characters. It's weird. But there's a lot of humor to it, but it's very kid friendly. There's, like you mentioned, the very beginning, you play as a very young Bruce Wayne, and you go through the whole thing with his parents dying. You go through the grounds of Wayne Manor. You see the Grey Ghost costume, which is awesome. Great nod. So yeah, great game. I'm gonna be playing it probably a little bit more this weekend, because I only had time to play 3 hours this week, because I decided to watch a movie that you already watched. I wanted to give a full spoiler review of Lee Cronin. Well, did you not want to talk about the Crow?
Oh, I was gonna. It came out. I was just watching it the other night, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, we already kind of pretty much covered all of our bases before we did all the reviews of them." But it did drop on this day in 1994, and I was watching the 4K, and it's one of the best 4K transfers you'll see.
Yeah.
It looks like it was made today. It's fantastic. Obviously, it sucks about Brendan Lee. I've gotten the Crow tattoo since then. But yeah, great transfer. If you have a 4K player, definitely pick it up. I would recommend it. It's a 5 out of 5 movie, 5 out of 5 transfer. And let's get into the Lee Cronin's The Mummy.
Yeah, Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Yeah, love The Crow. We deep dived into that whole thing last October. So I was wondering why you put it on there, but I figured we reviewed the 4K at least. Lee Cronin's The Mummy. You watched it a couple months ago, maybe a month ago when it was in theaters, 17th. Overall, I guess the director of it directed Evil Dead, the last Evil Dead. Didn't see that. I've only seen the very, very first Evil Dead movie, even though Army of Darkness I should be watching. But
yeah, that's the good Evil Dead movie. The first Evil Dead movie sucks. But this is basically he didn't return for the Evil Dead sequel. And, I mean, it's basically an Evil Dead movie without being Evil Dead. Is how I felt.
Because I was thinking, when I was watching this movie, I was thinking more of The Exorcist. But then when you said Evil Dead, I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely the Evil Dead. It's like a mix of the Exorcist and Evil Dead. But Katie is this young girl. She's like 7 or 8. And she gets kidnapped in Egypt by this old witchy woman. And she gets kidnapped, and the parents can't find her. So they she's been kidnapped and lost. Fast forward to 8 years later, the parents find out that they found Katie, and they kind of think she's alive. But she was found in a weird way. Of course, it's the mummy, so she was wrapped up in these weird wrappings. She looked like a mummy, as you can see in the poster there. Overall, I liked the movie. I'm not huge on gore. I did not like the amount of gore, and when they ripped the wrappings off of her skin and just like ripped part of her skin off. It wasn't a big huge
that was the part where the toenail part, especially.
Did not like that.
Yeah, that's two things get me in horror movies. It's three things: toes, eyes, and teeth. That's what gets me the creeps. And so I mean, I love horror, but those are things that get me every time. And when they're like trimming her nails and like a piece of skin like rips off her, I don't know, whatever leg. I'm just like,
Yeah, it just keeps ripping. Yeah, I wasn't a big, huge fan of that. Overall acting is great. I love the lead guy who plays the father. I don't know what I've seen him in. I know I've seen him in something.
He's been a ton of stuff, yeah.
Great actor in this. Also the police officer lady. I've seen her in something. I can't think of what it is. I think it may have been Gladiator 2, but there may have been another one in there too. Yep. I don't remember. But overall, 3.5 out of 5 for me. Did enjoy the visuals of the movie. Did enjoy an original mummy story. You're used to seeing the Brandon Fraser one when there's an old mummy. You're not used to seeing a newer version of a mummy with kind of ancient kind of passed along. Kind of have to have one every generation in order to stop this curse. I didn't really understand the dynamics of the whole thing, but 3.5 out of 5 sounds good to me. And we went to the movies last night. We saw the movie of the week. We saw Mandalorian and Grogu. New Star Wars movie in the theater. Haven't been in 7 years. 2019. Overall, I was satisfied with it. Wasn't sure what it was going to be going in.
I enjoyed it way more than I thought. I was more looking forward to getting dinner with you beforehand because I was craving some wings. It's true though. It does feel like 3 Mandalorian episodes stitched together. And like we're talking about the boys' series finale. If this is a series finale, I think they nailed it. I absolutely love the third act. Had a lot of Star Warsy stuff, a lot of old old throwbacks, which we're about to talk to. I'll let you continue.
My favorite in the whole entire movie. They brought the prequel era droids in.
Love that. I don't know if it's done in the animated stuff because I haven't.
Right.
Like I guess you can call me a Star Wars casual because I haven't seen every animated thing they've done. But obviously I love Star Wars. But I don't know if that's been done before. But I really like the fact that they have the droids from the prequels as basically repurposed, like you said,
recycled,
reprogrammed, Terminator style, reprogrammed. Yes.
Yeah, and they're all protecting the Hutts. They're on the Hutt planet. Very first time you see the planet of the Hutts, especially in live action. Like you said, I'm not sure I'm sure they've done it in animated.
Yeah.
But the very first time we've seen it in live action, we saw a whole bunch of Hutts.
Jeremy Allen White
hut looking.
Might be one of my favorite Star Wars characters. I really enjoyed his character.
The film.
I thought he was gonna have a small part in it, and I continued to think that until the third act again. Without getting into spoilers, I thought he was just kind of out of it. At the end of what we could have called episode 2 of a 3-episode arc. But yeah.
I wasn't a fan of the ending when all the Hutts are fighting. It just looked like 3 worms rolling around in the dirt.
The slugs, that was a little weird.
I wasn't a big huge fan.
But everything, all the other action of that between the X-Wings, the Y bombers who Ryan Johnson, you had Y bombers the entire time, and they finally used them correctly in this, as opposed to making up your own thing for the beginning of episode 8. But whatever, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I really enjoyed all that stuff. It was all very Star Warsy. It was a lot of fun. Kids are going to love this movie.
It was made for kids.
It was definitely made for kids, but I mean, Star Wars in general has always been made for kids. People will always be like, "Oh, well, they burned people alive in the first one." I'm like, yeah, but that was the 1970s. I mean, Jaws had nudity, and that movie was PG. So Star Wars has always kind of been for kids. We just kind of grew up. Which I mean, Return of the Jedi has a lot of kid stuff in it too, with the Ewoks and whatnot. But if you like that type of Star Warsy stuff, for me, like the humor really actually did work. Theater was a big fit. Theater seemed to overall enjoy it. It was about, what do you say, about half to 3/4 full.
It was more than that. The whole upper deck, was sold out.
Every grifter on the internet saying they went to it and it was completely empty and nobody was in the theater with them. And I'm like, yeah, okay, guys, your channel's based on hating Star Wars anyway, so fuck off.
There's a reason why we were higher up than we normally are, because there was nothing available besides what I got that day when I.
There was a couple in the front, but that was about it. Those seats are always available for that shit.
And the RPX, you cannot sit in the front because you cannot see it. That screen's huge. Just like if you go to IMAX, you couldn't do it.
Correct.
Overall, 3.5 out of 5. Not the best Star Wars. Kind of very in the middle. Not the worst Star Wars either.
I think because it might be my favorite non-Skywalker Disney film.
Oh no.
I liked it more than Rogue One.
I know you're not a huge fan of Rogue One, but I loved Rogue One. I think that's pretty much it for it. Without getting into, I mean, there's not much.
I give it the same score, 3.5. I had fun.
The first.
I'll look forward to watching it again. But
there is one more thing. Number 1.
Oh yeah, the chess game. Yeah.
The chess game.
Yep.
The arena when Mando fights Roto the Hutt. it was a recreation of the chess game in A New Hope. And I shout out to Adam, who went to the movies with it, Adam and Justin. Adam caught it, and he nudged me as we were watching the movie. It's a chess game. He's like, "Oh shit, it is!" Because right as he said that, the scene where Chewbacca's in the Millennium Falcon, and he takes the hollow chest, and that exact scene was playing out in the arena, which I thought was a really cool nod.
Yep.
So yeah.
And also, of course, Martin Scorsese, which I pointed out to you, and you were like, "Oh, I didn't even catch that." He plays an alien that's actually afraid of the quote unquote like Star Wars mafia side, which is a nice twist on the fact that everything he does is a gangster movie. Like his character in this was afraid of the gangsters in the Star Wars universe. So I enjoyed Scorsese. I enjoyed all the voice acting was all fucking great. It was all on point. They did a great job casting. Like I said, guy from The Bear was awesome. Everyone was good. Everyone did their part. Really enjoyed it. More than I thought I would. I think that's why I'm such a big fan of it, is because I had literally zero expectations for this movie.
Right. Tongue in cheek, just adding Scorsese to that, just because of all he said, not only about superhero movies, but big blockbusters in general, and then Favreau and Filoni hiring him on was a great touch. But overall, worth seeing in a theater. I thought the sound was great, visuals were great. Not sure how it's going to hold up.
Score was hit or miss, but
I wasn't a fan of the dubstep.
I'm sure I'll watch
halfway.
I'm sure I'll watch the last of it. I mean, the last part of it a lot once it comes out on video. Because like I said, it's like 3 Mandalorian, 2 okay Mandalorian episodes, then a really good Mandalorian episode. If this is all we get from the Mandalorian, I think it's cool. I do hope at some point they really do go into what Grogu is. I thought they might have explored that a little bit, but they didn't in this movie. So should they get a sequel? I mean, it was made for 166, 144 after tax breaks. So it has to make around 290, 300 to break even. So we might get a sequel. If it makes 350, 400, they might do a sequel or whatever. But I mean, Star Wars is in a bad place, especially after the last season of The Mandalorian and whatnot.
Well, it's been watered down with TV. The other thing that you mentioned that Favreau and Filoni were in an interview saying that that's one of the things that they don't want to touch lore. And like you mentioned, Yoda's background was always seemed to be a mystery. They're not sure if they want to tackle that. That's kind of why I felt this movie is a little safe for that reason.
Exactly. And the thing with Star Wars lore is no matter how you do it, I feel like with the way the internet is, people are going to have a really big fucking problem with it right now.
If you see a planet full of Yodas, there's going to be a huge complaint because there's only 2 Yodas, one Yoda and one baby Yoda.
Well,
you see a whole planet of them in water.
There was the female that died between episode 1 and 2 or whatever happened to her.
Yaddle, right?
Yaddle. So,
you're always asking about her. R.I.P. Yaddle.
I think we just assume that Grogu is a clone. I think that's just what everyone's assuming. Because the clone guy in the first season was that the first season of Mandalorian, I think?
Yeah. The only thing I wish we would find out is why is it because they're their clone, or are all of their species force sensitive? Like, I'd love to know more information about the species. Not necessarily the home planet and stuff like that, but in the movie he built a hut just like Yoda's hut to kind of keep Mando safe as they were stuck in the middle of the forest. But overall, worth seeing in the theater. Go see it if you can.
Agreed.
Definitely good to see Star Wars, and I'm excited for Starfighter because it seems like Disney's more high on that than they are in Mandalorian and Grogu.
This was like I feel like this was done as a soft reintroduction of Star Wars into
for sure.
Easy, which is
very
kind
soft.
of what they needed. Yes.
Yep. I thought so too. 4th best episode of Mando. I said that coming out of the theater. Wanted to mention that as well.
Yeah.
So let's get into the news. And it's not a news segment without the trailer roundup. And we got a doozy this week. Beginning of the week, we got the Lanterns full trailer. We see the ring for the first time. We see Hal Jordan walking into a diner, creating the green force field around him. Also, he's protecting a city. And he puts the dome around the city as it's being attacked. It looks like from space by a laser or something. All we know about this is set in 2016 in modern time. That's all we've heard so far in interviews. And from what the trailer shows, second set of pictures, we see Guy Gardner going to a prison cell. We see Hal with his Green Lantern uniform, which people are shitting on. We see what looks to be Oa, the kind of headquarters of the Lantern Corps.
Yep.
And we're not sure more about that, but it's definitely what it looks like. And we also see towards the end of the trailer, we see Jon Stewart holding the ring as well.
And of course, one of the big complaints after the teaser back a few months ago was that Hal says that he's the only human Green Lantern. People are like, what about Guy? But obviously, the 2016 Guy Gardner is not a Green Lantern at that point in time. So,
right. We see a very first kind of behind him of Sinestro there in the top left. We see Dillabon, whatever his name is, Raising Hope, Terminator. Garrett Dillabon. Yep. He's riding on a horseback there. We see a flashback of Jon Stewart when he was in the Air Force. And we see Hal Jordan with the sheriff there in town, and some sort of a mystery happens in town, setting up the events of the show. So very excited for that. Very excited for the show. Comes out in August. And the final shot of the trailer is Hal handing the ring over to Jon Stewart. So
correct.
Cannot wait. Cannot wait for this as well. Comes out next week. Getting rave reviews. Spider Noir, very final trailer came out this week. All episodes are dropping in black and white and in color. Probably gonna only watch the black and white before we record next week. I don't know if you're gonna have time to watch it all or not, but comes out on the 27th, which I believe is Wednesday. So we'll have a couple of days before. But it looks great. I love this. I love the black and white. I think that'll be great. A lot of people are saying in their reviews to watch black and white. So that's definitely what I'm gonna be doing. Michael Jackson. Michael just came out, and a brand new documentary is coming out on Netflix talking about the verdict and the allegations. Comes out 3 parts on June 3rd, which is in a couple of weeks on Netflix.
The week after. This is a hit job by Netflix. I don't know if it's a hit job, but it's a well-planned job by
Perfect
Netflix.
Timing.
That's probably about the week that Michael will no longer be in theaters. So
yep. Coming out on digital, I'm sure right around there. So it comes out on June 3rd. Michael Jackson, the verdict. So I probably will be watching that. John Cena has a new movie with Eric Andre called Little Brother. By the way, they stole the font from Little Caesars. How dare you? Yep. Comes out on June 26th. Basically, John Cena's the big brother to Eric Andre, who's not really his brother. It's more like the Brothers and Sisters of America, kind of like a mentor back in the day. And his little brother hunts him down. And if you know Eric Andre, he's got a very weird, dry sense of humor, very stunt. He was hired to be in Jackass, the last Jackass movie, just because he does a lot of weird stunts with his body and stuff. But I don't know. It's free. I'll watch it on Netflix. What the hell? It's out June 26th. And this morning, we got an epic trailer. The Boys just ended. We got the HD trailer of Vought Rising. It was leaked earlier in the week. Somebody on the camera phone when it was previewed during the premiere of The Boys finale. And they decided to release the HD version online this morning. And this is set in the 1950s, right after World War II. And of course, we know the history of The Boys. That's when the V was created. They created superheroes, and Soldier Boy, Stormfront, who is the Nazi, she comes back in this. She's a Nazi superhero that ends up getting burned, and Homelanders has sex with her in the Boys series. But overall, there's some characters in this that debuted in this last season of The Boys that are gonna be in this series, including, I can't remember his name, Bomb Sight, or I guess his name.
Yes, Bomb Sight.
But yeah, so cannot wait. The trail looked great. 1950s reminds me a lot of 50s noir. Reminds me a lot of Watchmen. When Watchmen happened in the 50s, reminds me of that era too. So yeah, cannot wait. Looks great. Box office last weekend, speaking of Michael, for the 4th week, came back to number 1, 26 million, which is great after 4 weeks. Devil Wears Prada 2, about 10 million behind for number 2. And Obsession, a movie you saw last week and reviewed, number 3, 16.1 million.
One of my favorite movie of the year still.
A lot of people are saying that.
It's so good.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that.
As we see here, Curry Barker's Obsession is predicted to reach 100 million in the global box office, and it costs less than $1 million to produce. That would probably make it one of the most successful movies of all time, based on how much it costs to make versus how much it makes at the box office, which is fucking insane.
Yeah, Yeah, crazy. It's definitely on my radar to watch after your review, and I've read a few after that. Looks like it sounds like it's gonna be a great movie. So, IMAX looking to sell the company. I guess and I don't know necessarily if they're failing. Maybe they're just wanting to get it out, but get out of it. But IMAX supposedly on sale, so somebody's gonna be buying that. I'm sure it'll be Disney because
They can't
combine their. They can't buy it.
No, they're a studio. They're a movie studio. You can't own a theater.
Oh, they can't own the theater. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a theater. It's a format.
Yeah.
I think they want to sell the format.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how that works. Yeah, because IMAX doesn't actually necessarily have a theater. They have format that theaters. Yeah.
Because of the Warner Brothers thing falling through, I heard Netflix might buy it.
Okay.
Which would be an interesting thing if they don't do theatrical. So, but it'd be another way for them to make money off theaters. I suppose.
FX picked up the series. Very Young Frankenstein announced the cast. Zach Galifianakis, and the other one, Carrie Elways would probably be the other one. Kumail Nanjiani, the other people you would know. Of course, this is a prequel to Young Frankenstein, done by the guys who did What We Do in the Shadows, including Taika Waititi. He's one of the producers on this. The sound, everything I read about it up until then, before I read the What We Do in the Shadows part, I kind of said, well, yeah, this kind of does feel like that. The way it's coming out on FX, all those signs are pointing to that. And then when I read that, I said, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. And so, yeah, Mel Brooks is a producer on it and still alive, 99 years old. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Charlie Heaton from Stranger Things has joined the cast of Peaky Blinders, brand new sequel series, as Tommy Shelby's second son, Charles. And that's him. Very first look came out today of him. He was probably my least favorite part of Stranger Things. So I don't know. I love Peaky Blinders, so I need to catch up on that and watch the movie and maybe get into this as well. Paramount officially announced that season 29 of South Park is returning on September 16th. Coming back for a brand new season. Last season was great. I caught up on it, so that was good. Got some brand new posters for Scary Movie. Tickets went on sale this week, and they're all spoofs of recent movies and all the movies they're going to probably be tackling in this Scary Movie. Comes out the same day as Masters of the Universe, which we're going to be seeing. Review it. I'm trying to time it out so I can see this as well the same day, but I'm not sure if it's going to work out. But yeah, it comes out June 5th. And also speaking of that, we got the popcorn bucket.
Yes.
Shaped like a bong. Different versions of it too. Smaller ones, large ones, tall ones. You asked me while we were eating, you think it's going to be functional? And I said, I don't think so because it looks like it comes apart.
I mean,
in the top.
Potheads will figure out a way.
There's always a way.
We discovered how to smoke out of an apple, for Christ's sake. Yeah, I think this is fucking light work.
It looks like they put the butter in the thing on the top.
Yes.
It looks very strange. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the popcorn bucket. Speaking of Sam Raimi, this came out after we recorded last week. There's a movie in the 70s called Magic, starring Anthony Hopkins, where he's a ventriloquist and he has a dummy. And that movie is being remade by Sam Raimi. And it's gonna follow this ventriloquist whose dummy begins to take control of his life and encourages him to commit violent acts. So right up Sam Raimi's alley. I have it. I want to watch it probably in the next couple of weeks. I will, and I may talk about it if it's good. I don't know if I think you said you may have seen.
I saw it a long time ago when I worked at the video store. I saw it.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Obsession director Curry Barker has already filmed his next horror movie called Anything But Ghosts. Follows two con artists whose fake ghost hunting business spirals out of control after encountering a real dark entity. Aaron Paul, Bryce Dallas Howard are in that movie.
I'll see it.
Yeah, I know you're a big, huge fan of Obsession, so yeah. Michael Fassbender in talks to star in a new movie alongside Selena Gomez. Described as 4 hours, NC-17 rated film focused on the history of the occult in America. That sounds great. I'm definitely interested in that. Delphi, Michael B. Jordan, new series spinoff of Creed, the Apollo Creed universe that he created, which of course is created off the Rocky franchise. Delphi is going to be the next generation of fighters, next generation. And Michael B. Jordan announced the cast, and joining the cast is Wood Harris, of course, from The Wire. He was the kind of worked in the boxing training ring. So he's gonna be a big, huge part of this. Probably the star of the TV series. So coming out on Prime, I believe, called Delphi. And James Franco, who was canceled, kind of apologized for all the sexualized stuff that he did.
Mhm.
Well, I think he was a teacher in a college, and he ended up having sex with a bunch of students, and he got canceled. He has been cast in a small role in the Rambo prequel film, the one that they were doing, the new Rambo. They're also doing, not to be confused with the Rocky one, the Rambo one, totally different actor. But it's going to be his first role since the 2018 allegations from a major film. Seth Rogen kind of pushed him aside, so he used to do movies with him all the time. So he's kind of trying to climb back into Hollywood.
Yeah.
And this is his first major role. So Ben Affleck set to narrate a new documentary, a three-part docuseries. I believe it's coming out on Hulu, all about Whitey Bulger, based off a book called Hunting Whitey Bulger. And that's what the series is going to be called, which is, of course, the inspiration for The Departed, the Jack Nicholson character in The Departed. Just was captured like 10, 15 years ago for the first time. He was hiding out in California, and they made a huge movie about it. I am interested in that. I love real mob stories. I want to hear more about it. And with Affleck attached, definitely want to see a documentary on that. So that'd be cool. Brand new character posters for House of the Dragon. New season comes out next month. We got the House Targaryen there, and Alistair and the other. I can't remember what the house is. I guess it's
the greens and the blacks.
The greens and the blacks. Yeah. So yeah, I cannot wait. All the characters there. Got some new ones there. We'll be talking about more when the season starts. And Mobland. I loved the first season. Was raving about it. Second season coming out soon, and it was announced this morning that after season 2 just wrapped filming, they fired Tom Hardy from season 3. Season 3 was going to be happening. Already was set to return. And because he was so bad with the producers, he clashed with them. He was being constantly late on set and attempting to give notes and change the dialogue on the series. They just had enough of him and publicly outed him online and fired him today. In a Variety article and Hollywood Reporter article all came out. And other than that, that's all we've heard. It came out this morning. So he was the best part of that show. He doesn't get back for the third season. They might as well not even have a third season. So, yeah, Tom Hardy, great actor, but that's not the first time I've heard stories like that. Dexter Resurrection Season 2 currently filming, and we get the first look of Joey. Of course,
Quinn.
Quinn coming back. And
Can't
like
wait.
you mentioned, missing a couple T cells, but looks great.
The ever shrinking actor.
Filming in New York City, of course, taking the Batista role of season 1, and kind of probably figuring out what happened to Batista and why Dexter's alive, and all of that. It'll be interesting to see what happens to him at the end of the season if they follow the Dexter route. So, although, if you think about it, was the last season of Dexter, Quinn kind of knows that Dexter's doing what he's doing. He witnesses it on a camera and lets it go. And lets Dexter go. If you remember, I've seen it. I've seen it in a year or so, but Quinn kind of knows what's going on. So when he sees Dexter, I'm wondering how that interaction is going to be. Halloween Horror Nights always announces new horror movies. Current horror movies are going to be turned into haunted houses. The first one they announced is Sinners. Sinners becoming a part of Halloween Horror Nights this year. They're going to turn it into an old Louisiana or Alabama, wherever that movie's set. Haunted house with all the vampires from Sinners. So yeah, that'd be awesome if we lived down there. And the world's first AI feature film is debuting at Cannes Film Festival. All created through prompts, all created through AI, called Hellgrind, a 95-minute film. Only cost $500,000 to make. Team of 15 people, 2 weeks, put in prompts in a computer. $400,000 of the $500,000 went into the computing costs. And it's just from everybody what they say, it looks like a cheaper version of taking Mortal Kombat, Resident Evil, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, packing it all into one violent fantasy film. Creators had to put in input prompts. into their tool with detailed style specifications. For example, they had to say they had to do what the camera is going to look like, the motion blur, and all this. They had to put that all in every single prompt. That's why it took forever, and they had 15 people working on it. So 3,000 words in a prompt would end up being about 15 seconds of footage, and they ended up putting that all together. AI, scary. This is the scary AI we don't like, because it's going to fuck up the film industry. Because that looks like just some regular movie that's been filmed. The actor's not real. The people aren't real. And it's going to be in cans. I'm wondering what the reception of that's going to be. So.
Correct.
Also announced this week, which sounds great, a Billy Joel biopic entitled Billy and Me, directed by John Ottman. The film that chronicled Joel's formative years before Piano Man, before his very first hit in 1973. So when he is in the piano bars playing piano. On paper, sounds great. It's gonna be like 1966 before he's found out from his manager. Well, Billy Joel, after this was announced, came out and slammed it, saying, this is legally and professionally misguided. I do not support this. And they've been trying to do this for a while, and he's put his foot down, saying no, not going to allow them to use his music, not going to allow him to do anything. But at the time, he was a cover artist. So that's what the producer was saying. Well, you can say you don't want us to do this all you want, but we're going to just do before you were famous, before you wrote your first song, we're just going to be having you do your covers. So we'll get rights to other music, and we'll have you do that. So, yeah, Billy Joel in the 60s before he's famous. Slowly getting worse as far as at first I thought it sounded good, but I don't know. Not being able to use his music, especially for that first album, I don't know how that's going to work. So, especially if he says no. Was it the Jimi Hendrix movie with the start? I think Andre 3000. Family came out as they were filming and said you cannot use any Jimi Hendrix music. You can't do anything. And the other thing was there was stuff in that movie, from what I heard, that they just said, oh, fuck it, we'll just tell an original story. Like, there's a story in the movie where Jimi Hendrix ends up beating his girlfriend at the time, and that never happened. There was never any stories of him ever being abusive to his girlfriend when he was alive. So they just made up shit, which is why do that in the biopic? I don't understand. Quinta Brunson, who is in the show on ABC, I can't remember what the hell it is. It's set in high school there. She's going to be playing Betty Boop in an animated Betty Boop movie. She's kind of got the eyes for it. Betty Boop, one of the most popular characters, is going to be set from the POV of Max Fleischer. We talked about Max Fleischer last year, and he did the Superman cartoon. He also did Betty Boop. And that's what it's going to be all about. It's going to be from the point of view of him, and the evolution and creation of Betty Boop, and how he created it as an animated series. I guess Betty Boop comes to life, so go with that. Jim Carrey going to be playing the lead in the Jetsons movie. I saw that. Wanted to mention that because I haven't seen anything else about it. Jim Carrey retired, semi-retired. I don't know. Brand new poster for Super Troopers 3. Looks great. Trailer looks great, but second trailer looked great too. Second movie sucked, so I don't know. Brand new posters. When the trailers came out last month, we didn't get the posters for it. We got brand new posters for Resident Evil, done by Kreger. No, not Kreger.
Yep, Zach Kreger.
Yeah, Zach Kreger. Yeah, I can't remember these things. Weapons Barbarian director. Looks awesome. Yeah, cannot wait for that. Brand new first look of the Passions of the Christ sequel, Resurrection of Christ, and they recast Jim Caviezel as Jesus. That's the new guy. And after he's resurrected, comes out a year from now, May 6th of 2027, part 2. It is 2 parts. One comes out like the weekend before Easter, and the other one comes out May 6th. So, also, trailer came out last month, and we just got the poster for Sacha Baron Cohen and Rosamund Pike's new Ladies First movie, where kind of roles reversed, and Sacha Baron Cohen falls on his head. He used to be misogynistic. Now all the women are misogynistic against him. So, comes out May 22nd. And actually, that's today on Netflix. So I'm not sure if I'll watch that or not. And Masters of the Universe. We're going to see it in a couple weeks. They had a premiere in the beginning of the week. They created Castle Grayskull, the TCL Chinese Theater. And he meets up with Dolph Lundgren, who was the very first He-Man Adam. And they held the Sword of Power in front of the Masters of the Universe Castle Grayskull. during the premiere there. So kind of passing the torch moment. We'll talk about that in a couple weeks. And the Bond search. They announced the first actor who auditioned. Broadway actor who was in the revival of Sunset Boulevard. His name is Tom Francis. And that's the only name that's come out of this audition, probably announced by his people, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, they're trying to keep that tight lips. I'm sure they're not happy about that. James Cameron says he wants to make 2 more Avatar films. He wants to do it in half the time for 2/3 of the cost. Probably because Disney's like, can we do this for cheap?
Yes.
So that's we'll see how that happens. And an open world Lord of the Rings RPG game is officially in the works. I can't remember what other game they did. They did another big, huge movie, but Kingdom Come Deliverance. I don't know what that is, but open world Lord of the Rings in Middle Earth. That's going to be crazy. That's going to be awesome. So I don't know. And PlayStation announced that their state of play for June 2nd is going to be focusing on new games, and the big one, brand new live action play, is going to be the Wolverine game. We're going to get first hands-on game footage of that game. Cannot wait because that comes out in September supposedly. So we'll get more updates on that, I'm sure. Then let's get into some swag.
Swag. Stuff we all get.
Come on, son. You know that's right.
We got the final swing suit from Spider-Man No Way Home. And this is the very final scene in the movie where Tom Holland's Spider-Man makes his own suit after the world forgets he's Spider-Man. And this is the what it's going to look like, the final version for Hot Toys. Looks great. Cannot wait for that. Also, love Mondo figures. I think Mondo has some of the best figures right now as far as the animated series are concerned. Coming out with Batgirl from that series, Barbara Gordon. And they got a whole bunch of accessories for that as well. They got a couple of her fighting Clayface with Batman, Batman, Robin, and her standing posing above in the city skyline. These Mondo figures look great, especially with the animated. This and Spider-Man. The X-Men ones look great too, so awesome. And the Batman, currently filming. Matt Reeves been doing camera testing, and this is the first shot of him in a police car in Gotham City that's been attacked. Has some snow on it. Has some rips in the windshield. He's doing camera testing. Haven't had any filming of the actors yet. Kind of just testing the line for some of these scenes from the movie, what he's going to be doing. So, another look of Supergirl. Another new look of Kara from Supergirl. Also got a very first look at some popcorn buckets for Supergirl in a cup there as well. Cannot wait for that movie. Comes at the end of next month. So very, very much looking forward to that. And it was also announced that Millie Alcock is going to be returning as Supergirl in Man of Tomorrow. James Gunn has confirmed that since this article came out in Variety. It was kind of figured that was going to happen. She's a big, huge part of this universe, especially with this movie coming out. Everything I've seen, we saw the trailer last night and on big. I think maybe the first time I've seen it on the big screen. It looks incredible on the big screen. So I cannot wait till June 26th to see Supergirl. And finally in news, Brad Winterbrom, who is the head of TV, he's been doing all the stuff for TV, has been promoted to head of Marvel Television, animation, and comics and franchise. Comics and franchise is new to the title. That was done when the comics kind of folded into Marvel. Kevin Feige took that over. That reign is now being held over to Brad Winterbrom. Winterbrom, a lot of people love what he's doing with television and animation. I do as well. And a lot of people are afraid this means that the comics are going to be more tied into the live action stuff, which I don't know. I don't know about that. I got to tell you, you would say the same thing. DC right now, the king of comics. Right.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, I just got Absolute Green Arrow. First issue is fucking fantastic. I love Green Arrow. One of my favorite guys to read. Of course, in this Absolute universe, Ollie is dead. He was seen for about 1 page in Absolute Evil. So I don't know who the Green Arrow is yet. They have like quote unquote suspects. So we'll see. But the first issue came out this week and it's fantastic.
Nice. We gotta do some comic reviews. We haven't done them in a while. I know we're gonna do Mr. Miracle. Maybe we should do that before the end of the summer. I'm planning on that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm down.
That's it for our show this week. Next week we'll talk about. I haven't talked about Euphoria this week. I may bring that up. May wait till the finale happens in a couple weeks. May actually hold off on that. Continue to talk about Willow's Bay. On the 24th, a couple days from now, Bad Thoughts comes out. I love the first season. Season 2 comes out on Netflix. Tom Segura. Probably going to watch that. But the big thing the big focus next week is going to be two things. Comes out on the 27th on Amazon Prime, Spider Noir. All 8 episodes are going to be airing. Going to be 2 viewing options, black and white and color. I'm going to talk about the black and white version.
I will too. That's what I'm watching. So
yeah, that's what we're going to watch. And you're also going to be reviewing 007 First Light, the brand new James Bond game coming out next Friday. High hopes for that. I can't wait to get your reaction to that. I'm not going to buy that one. Lego Batman had so much hype, and then when the reviews came out on Monday, I decided to jump the gun. So
yeah,
I'll definitely wait to your reaction to that.
Too is, I should have waited on one or the other. I pre-ordered Bond as soon as it went up in February. But I really wanted to play Lego Batman because I feel like Bond's gonna be a more difficult game, and Lego Batman will just be a fun lay back after work and play for an hour or two.
Yep. And it's good to see them giving more respect to Bond in the game universe because, of course, GoldenEye.
Yep.
Yeah, GoldenEye was a classic one.
The gold standard.
Since then it's been
very mixed bag.
Very mixed
Russia
bag.
with Love was okay. That was like a third person, but this is done by my favorite game, maybe my favorite game of all time. It might even top Ocarina and Super Mario World is the recent Hitman games. I absolutely love it. It's that studio. So if this game doesn't deliver, I will be very upset. But it looks like it's going to deliver from everything I've seen.
Yeah, so I cannot wait to get your reaction to that. And we'll talk to everybody then. Everybody have a good weekend, Memorial Weekend. And we'll talk to you next week. Peace.
We're the Geek Blurb crew, here to enlighten you. Talking all things geeky, from movies to wrestling to our podcast is the place where you want to be for all the latest news and nostalgia from the 80s and 90s. We review comic book flicks and sci-fi hits, riding the wave of action movies with all the cool bits. From Iron Man to Star Wars, we cover it all. And when it comes to wrestling, we never drop the ball. Geek Blurb, we're the kings of the nerds, rating movies and pineapples, our opinions never blurred. Join us each week for a geeky chat with the latest news and a dose of nostalgia that. So if you're a fan of the comic book craze, or a lover of sci-fi and all its maze, tune in to Geek Blurb, we're here to entertain, bringing you the best in geekdom, it's our domain.